If you want to get a job with a television network or work in the film industry and do things that are big budget and large sprawling national type stuff, yes, you kind of need to go to New York or LA. Unless you can find a situation that, location doesn't matter. For instance, NFL Films is out of Mount Laurel, New Jersey. They work side by side with the NFL Network, which is based in Los Angeles, but a lot of programming on the network comes from NFL Films in Mount Laurel. Places like that are few and far between, but it just lucked out that I'm from this area, knew people there, got in. But if you want to do anything on a national level, most often you need to go to New York or LA. That doesn't mean you have to go to New York or LA to be successful, depending on what you determine success to be. If you determine success to be gainfully employed, 40, 50 hours a week, steady work, you can go anywhere in the country and do that and still work in media. A lot of television stations, corporate video, a lot of different companies will do commercial work, production work. Might not be on the great national scale to stardom and fame, but you can be successful and make a very good living. The ability to communicate is paramount, and that is good interpersonal communication, good one-on-one, good group dynamic, also mediated communication. You have to know how to write a letter. You have to know how to pick up the phone and phrase a phone conversation. You have to know email etiquette. That's big. Communication is big. Also, the ability to learn and adapt and not conform, but get used to a system that might be foreign to you. For instance, if you want to be an editor, you should know how to edit, not necessarily how to use certain software, but what constitutes a good video cut. When should you let the audio continue on and fade out or fade in? Something like that. You don't need to know software because software is always changing. So if you have good understanding of concepts going into the field, you'll be more successful, better poised to succeed. When I was getting ready to graduate from undergrad and then grad school, all of my professors that I went to said basically the same thing, and so that's what I tell all of my students. Plan to be unemployed for 6 months after graduation. Expect to be unemployed for 3 months. Okay, so if you've done your homework and you've done everything right, in terms of you've got a decent-looking resume, you did an internship, or you've got some professional work under your belt, even the best people should plan to be unemployed for at least 3 months. Now, that kind of came true for me because it wasn't until 3 months after I graduated that I was working, 5 days a week, basically. So I had work within 2 months, but it was, 1-2 days a week. That's not much. That you can't make a living off of that. But I always tell people, expect to be unemployed 3 months, plan for 6. And if you put that in your head, if you plan for that, don't worry about what your parents say or what your other fellow graduates are getting into. You know that things will arise. Now, in today's economy, all bets are off, unfortunately. It's tough to get a job no matter what industry you're going into. So you might have to rough it out for a little longer than that. But if you use the 3-month, 6-month idea, that gets you better suited for 3 months of absolutely nothing. But if you stay persistent, you keep meeting people, you float your resume out there, you look in places for jobs, and just keep up your contacts, it should turn out pretty well.